Plaintiff Amanda Bishop says within the 4 months that she dated the defendant, she discovered he suffered from middle child syndrome and constantly needed attention. Amanda's suing because the defendant wrecked her car. Defendant Adam Crumbie says his relationship with Amanda was good until she went on spring break and refused to take him with her. Adam says he already paid Amanda for her insurance deductible and insists he never agreed to pay for anything else.
Start with you.
All right. Me and Mr. Crumbie were together for a short amount of time. In that short amount of time, it was about 4 months, 5 months. In that short amount of time, we spent quite a bit of time together because when we first met, we had worked together. But within the 4 months that we did date, kind of figured out that he puts on a front because he's a middle child, so there was that middle child syndrome thing where he always feels like nobody's listening to him.
I got a question because I haven't been able to figure this out about my kids. I have 4, so which one is the middle child? Really, am I? Which one, seriously, the second or third?
Don't ask me, I'm terrible at math.
All right, yeah. You can't split them up into halves. No. All right, and what is that syndrome for those who don't know?
To me, it's like they feel like they're always on the back burner. They're not being listened to. They're overshadowed by someone else.
No, that's all 4 of mine, so I guess. All right, that's their deal. Sir, you give me some background on yourself.
Well, sometimes, I do feel like nobody listens to me, but at that time, that's irrelevant for the fact of why we're here.
I'll listen.
I'm sorry?
I'll listen.
Okay.
I'm not going to treat you like the rest of society.
That's an honor, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
But while, me and Miss Bishop, while we were dating, she had a spring break trip planned to Florida for vacation. And while she was on spring break...
What did you say? I was doing some notes. What did you say again? I'm sorry. You said something about traveling?
Yeah, something about traveling.
Okay.
And she went on spring break while we were dating. And, our relationship was good. We dated for about 6 months, maybe a little less. Our relationship was great up until she went on spring break. And her reasons for not taking me or anybody but her girlfriends was that some guy ruined it the year prior. So that led her to not take any other guys with her on spring break.
Right. Well, what did you say when she said you can't go because of what the other guy did?
I told her that was kind of silly, but
couldn't talk
that's
her
your
into
choice.
It?
That's her choice.
So what happens on the trip?
So while on spring break, she failed to contact me numerous times.
Excuse me. I definitely did contact him on a daily basis.
No.
It was like, hey, hello, I'm a live call. That was about it. Because when I called him and I talked to him, I either heard just breathing or it was complaining because his arm hurt or whatever his ailment was at the time.
That's that attention deal.
Right.
Yeah, I expected, the woman that I was dating at that time to have some sympathy for her man. She know her man is at home.
What was wrong with you?
From the car accident, I had nerve damage in my arm.
What did you want her to do?
Anytime I contacted her or she contacted me, it was what her girlfriends were doing or what they were about to do.
No. What should she have done on her spring break trip about you at home having some pain? Should she have asked every time, baby, you want me to send you some medicine? What should she have done?
It would have been nice of her to, ask how I was doing instead of constantly just telling me what her and her girlfriends are doing. I didn't hear anything like, I miss you, baby, or I love you, I wish you were here with me, or anything like that. It was always what her and her girlfriends were doing, what they were about to do.
What would you say?
I'm on vacation.
What did I say?
All right. Yeah.
If the situation
No. What did you say?
I don't want to hear about that. I want to hear that how much you miss me, or
you didn't want to hear the good time your woman was having.
I knew she was having a good time.
You didn't.
Yeah, oh yeah, I did.
You didn't know. How would you know?
Just
could have got bitten by a West Nile mosquito. You didn't know what was going on. You didn't know. That's what people do, sir. They go on a break, and if they call their mate or spouse, that's what they talk about. They don't sit there and listen to them. Okay, fine. I don't want to hear about your trip. My fingers are hurting from my nerves. Go ahead, ma'am. Let's get to the case. I see you are absolutely right about that middle child syndrome. You are absolutely right. He wanted that attention.
Getting to the case.
Rental car you're suing about.
My car. The car that is in question, I had just bought in the beginning of January. So it was, to me, a brand new car. And I had let him borrow it on his break from work. He had his license. He'd never had an accident. I felt, confident in letting him drive my car. Well, then when he had left, it had just started downpouring, a lot of water on the roads. He was going around a bend, hydroplaned, fishtailed, spun around in the next lane where a school bus slams into the back of my car, puts my trunk in my back seat. The speed limit is 45 on the particular street that we're talking about, but I don't believe that he was slowed down any to account for the water on the road or even the turn, in fact.
Sometimes, yeah, I do feel like nobody listens to me, but at that time, that's irrelevant for the fact of why
I'll
we're here.
listen.
I'm sorry?
I'll listen.
Okay.
I'm not going to treat you like the rest of society.
That's an honor, Your Honor.
Plaintiff Amanda Bishop is suing her ex-boyfriend, who claims his relationship with Amanda was good until she went on spring break and refused to let him join her.
So what type of discussion did you all have about the accident?
He had already gone to the hospital. I wasn't concerned about anything but him at that particular point in time. I got my car taken care of. It was towed and everything like that. And then he felt bad for wrecking the car. Because I had bought it in the beginning of January, and this was March that the accident had happened, there was still a gap from what the insurance company would pay and what Kelley Blue Book said my car was worth. There was $1,248.50 left after the insurance company cut the check to the bank.
Okay.
The other expense I have listed
Rental
is
car?
because like
How long did you keep a rental car?
I had it for 27 days.
Why did you have it 27 days?
you took
Most
it on
people
vacation.
have it
I
10
was-
days or something.
I took it on vacation.
Had you intended to go on vacation already?
It's a planned trip. It's my yearly vacation. I've gone
Okay,
every
and
year
you were planning to drive your car?
I was planning to drive my car. Yes, I was.
And your vacation was 27 days.
No, my vacation was
I
10
don't blame
days.
you. I'd be mad too. She on the island for 27 days.
My vacation was 11
Is this the same
days.
trip?
Yes. It's spring break and bike week. It was a family vacation that I've gone on since I was little. And then I just
okay.
kind of turned it into a girls' vacation.
Okay.
Basically.
All right. Total amount was how much for the
rental car?
Yes.
$1,653.53.
All right. Sir, let me hear from you regarding the accident and why don't you believe you owe?
On March 2nd of 2012, I was on my way to work, as Ms. Bishop explained, and the road was wet. Speed limit is 45 miles an hour, and I did slow down significantly enough. As I was in the curve and hit the
Obviously
brakes,
not
the
enough
car had
to
already
hydroplane.
started hydroplaning, and the back end spun around into the next lane. So I pretty much just braced for impact because as I got around the curve, I seen the school bus, and the car was already sideways in the road. So as I called her and made it out of the car, made it to the hospital, she said she wasn't worried about it, any other damages, because the car is fully insured. And she asked me would I be able to pay her deductible, and I told her yes. So 7 days later, as she already had her trip planned, she was without a vehicle, so she rented a car so she could still go to Florida for vacation. By the time she came back from vacation, that's when she started demanding me that I pay for the rental car,
Right.
and what the loan didn't
So,
cover.
what was your problem?
So when she was trying to break up with me at the same time, she was dumping me for
I
some
want to hear
odd
about the
reason.
money, sir.
Oh, why? Because we never had any kind of agreement that I would. Our only agreement
Okay.
was that I would pay the deductible. She never asked me
All
to
right,
pay
listen,
anything
let me tell you
else
what
before
you
she came
just
back.
said. You
Right.
said we didn't have an agreement.
Right.
And then you said my only agreement.
Yeah.
So which one was it? Did you have an agreement or not?
While at the hospital, I agreed to pay the deductible. Yes, I did.
Ma'am, did you say, and that's the total amount, final amount I'll ever charge you
No,
or
Your
you'll
Honor,
ever
I
have to
definitely
pay
did
on
not.
this? What was the nature of your discussion regarding the payment?
He said that he wanted to make things right. And in making things right, to me, he would repay any damages that I incurred from his accident.
Right, and that means anything short of the insurance Meaning if the insurance paid $5,000 and you owed $6,000, he'd pay $1,000. In other words, she shouldn't have to suffer from any of your actions. She shouldn't have to suffer monetarily, not $1, because were it not for what you did, she wouldn't lose anything. Now, in this case, the law concludes that even if there is rain or a storm and you hydroplane, you're negligent because you have to be careful based on what you see. And so you have a duty to slow down. So you were negligent in that case. The additional expense she incurred as a result of the accident, meaning what the insurance didn't cover, is $2,903. That's your judgment. Have a good day.
Broke the picture frame that I gave him for Valentine's Day in the middle of the floor and then sent me a picture of it. How old are we? Because I'm pretty sure we're adults, and adults don't do that.
You know, congratulations on winning. I ain't seen you since like September. It's good to see you. I'm happy you won your case. It wasn't never no hard feelings, you know what I'm saying? It's just a breakup, you know, kind of put me through a loop.